Afternoon, my name is Andrea and I am a student of the course Migration and Health and for the University of Baja California UABC. So this day we're gonna talk about of some reflections. It's about some video and on YouTube, the nadie. And this is directed by Tinder Damel, follows migrants, mainly from Central America, who crossed Mexico on their way to the USA and won the Audience Award, World Cinema Documentary and Sundance in 2006. So, main points, so ideas, themes, and concepts about this is invisibility and dehumanization. So the title, the nadie, emphasizes how the system turns migrants into nobodies, nameless, without rights, without a voice. The film does exactly the opposite. It gives them back their faces and voices. Second one is the violence in transit and multiple predators. So the journey through Mexico is not only geographical. It is a corridor of extortion, kidnapping, sexual abuse, beatings, and constant fear perpetrated by state agents, criminals, and local actors. So, the festival promotional material itself mentions attacks by police, gangs, and railroad workers. The third that we can find in this video is La Bestia and physical risk. Climbing into the freight train involves mutilation because this is what they are did, falls and death. And itself, contemporary review of the film noted that the stretch through Mexico can be even more lethal than the final crossing. So, gender and vulnerability. Stories such as that of Maria Ponce from Honduras highlight sexual violence as weapon of control and terror along the road. Networks of care and denial. So, immigrants, shelters, volunteers, and faith communities offer refuge, food, healing, and listening ear, reminding us that solidarity does not erase violence, but it does offer respite of humanity. And hypocrisy and double standards is the other one. The film hints at the contradiction of society that denounces what happens to another border while tolerating violence at home. So, something for me confused to understand, I think, is the chain of responsibility. It is difficult to discern who is responsible for each abuse: municipal, state, or federal police, gangs, railway personnel, institutional fragmentation, and possible collusion blur the perpetrators and therefore justice. The second one, I could say the real magnitude. By focusing on individual stories, human insight, the film does not quantify rates, maps, or figures. This narrative choice leaves a sense of immensity that is impossible to measure, which can confuse those looking for hard data. And structural causes summarized because violence and lack of opportunity are hinted. But the documentary does not elaborate on the political economy of the Exodus. This silence invites further investigation, which can feel confusing. So we expecting Minecraft. So another thing is, what is the new changes and the way I think or perceive this after watch the video. Um, I think the most dangerous part is not always the border, right? Before seeing stories like this, it is easy to believe that everything happens over there on the line. The film pushes us to recognize that the road through Mexico can be even more cruel, and the political value of naming. So, moving from migrants to people with names, family, and dreams changes the conversation. There are no aesthetics or problems, they are lives in motion. So, everyday complicity. The film forces me to look at how I participate by action or omission, right? And systems that exploit cheap labor and tolerate abuse. And to ask myself what it really means to be a good neighbor in a transit city. And have a serious act. So, seeing someone persisting their life project, even after violence, redefines hope not as naivety, but as an ethic of survival. And, well, what is worth exploring or learning more about, and why, right? Rights and protection roads in Mexico. What real options exist today for shelter, humanitarian visas, and reporting and medical care. Understanding procedures, institutions, and their limits helps translate empathy into useful action. Sorry. Gender-based violence on the road. So the specificity of the risk for women, girls, and LGBTIQ plus people requires human trauma-informed prevention and care protocols. Next point, network of shelters and civil society. So mapping migrant houses and their needs, food, medicine, legal advice. So allows us to move from emotion to concrete collaborations. And most important, mental health on the move, right? Has anxiety, grief, PTSD, and composition fatigue. Those who have our issues that are rarely visible but key to any sustainable response. And at the end, a specific example, personal professional life. I can talk about the professional as I'm studying medicine, so I found something interesting here. Professional example: health and community on the border, right? At a community clinic in Tijuana, the team decided to adopt triage for people in transit. Any barriers to access due to documentation are removed. A checklist of train risk, fall injuries, dehydration, skin infections, musculoskeletal pain is included, right? So a brief psychological trauma protocol is created, not invasive questions. Referral to psychosocial support. And a printed directory of shelters and advocacy centers and reporting hotlines is kept on hand. So this is small but sustained. Adjustment transfer the clinic into a place of dignity, a safe haven. So here someone can once again be a person. with a name, pain, and future. So rather than just another case, so one feeds morbid curiosity or cynicism. This is the end of this reflection. After seeing it, the honest thing to do is to ask ourselves, right? What we can do from our own square meter. Inform ourselves. Super migrants should correct those who dehumanize with their language or adjust our professional practice so as not to reproduce violence. And I'm so grateful for to see this video because I knew about this topic and situation more than anything. But see or watch this story and think that there is not only one, there is a million. It's something impressive. So thank you for seeing and for watch the video, and I think we were watching the next the next days and weeks. So thank you so much.